Get into it, Coach Colin. Here, we all know Kamala Harris has been hiding from the media. And, a lot of the white dudes for Kamala are saying, no, she's not hiding. She's in the rallies. She's doing rallies. And that doesn't count as media. We're talking about podcasts. We're talking about interviews. We're talking about sitting with independent journalists, mainstream media, all of the above, everything. That's what we're talking about when we talk about her hiding from the media. She has done none of that. Not even once. Not even in places like the National Black Journalists Association that actually loves her and would praise her and would treat her like as if she was Michelle Obama Christ reincarnated. She even declined to do that. She has been hiding, and her communications specialist is actually going to tell us why she's been hiding. Very interesting stuff.
Would it kill you guys to have a press conference? Why hasn't she had a press conference?
Listen, the Vice President and Governor Walz have been busy crisscrossing this country since the launch of this campaign and adding Governor Walz to the ticket. You saw the ways in which they went across the battleground states last week, generating rallies of thousands, 10,000 here, 15,000 there. But
Michael, a campaign rally is not a press conference.
It's going to be inclusive.
Do you mind if I cut in? I mean, a campaign rally is not a press conference. Why hasn't she had a press conference? She's the vice president. She can handle the questions. Why not do it?
We absolutely are going to do it. You hear her take questions as she's out on the stump. And she said last week, we're going to be having a sit-down interview here before the end of the month. What she's going to be focused on and what this campaign is going to be focused on is communicating directly with the voters that are actually going to decide the pathway to 270 electoral votes. That's why she
Can you commit to a press conference this week?
This past week. That's why we're doing a bus tour in Pennsylvania as we head into Chicago. And it's why we'll sit down for an interview before the end of the month to make sure that we can have a deep dive conversation about the vision that Kamala Harris has for where she wants to take this country and the contrast that we're going to have with Donald Trump. We're going to have plenty of opportunities to do that throughout the rest of
but one interview by the end of the month.
This month and throughout the rest of the campaign.
I don't want to belabor this, but one interview before the end of the month. I mean, that's not a lot. I mean, can you commit to a press conference before the end of the month?
We will commit to directly engage with the voters that are actually going to decide this election. And that is going to be complete with rallies, with sit-down interviews, with press conferences, with all the digital assets that we have at our disposal.
He's basically saying, no, this is actually purposeful. We're doing this on purpose. We're avoiding the media on purpose. One interview by the end of the month. Just so you know, that was August 1st when this gentleman said that. We are at August 24th. We should be expecting that interview anytime now, shouldn't we? We'll see what happens. But like the gentleman said, one interview is not a lot. Answering a few questions here and there because there's people yelling at you as you're getting off of a bus, but also making sure you know who the journalists are who are going to be there. The people that are going to be at the spots where you're meeting. This is not real. This is so manufactured. And that's why she's not doing all these random interviews, because you can only manufacture and script so many interviews. And in today's climate, if you sit back and script an interview like Joe Biden had to do so many times, it gets outed. Just like Joe Biden got outed as being very scripted. I mean, some of it he outed himself, but it got outed. A lot of people came forward. Sage Steele was one of them, said the interview that she did with him was completely scripted. And that's exactly what will happen with Kamala Harris. Now, the question is, in reality, what's worse? Someone who embraces the media but is very abrasive like Donald Trump, or someone who completely hides from the media like Kamala Harris? That's what Bill Maher and Kaitlin Collins are tackling right now. Check this out.
What do you think about the fact that Kamala doesn't talk to the press? In a way, I feel like it's more insulting than what Trump does. And Trump says you're the enemy of the people, which is pretty bad. But she's kind of saying I don't need you. I'm not talking to you. You don't matter. You're not relevant anymore. To me, that's even worse than I hate you. It's like I don't think about you.
I don't know if it's worse than denigrating the press on a daily basis, which is what Donald Trump did. I mean, I covered him in the White House every day as a correspondent, and oftentimes to kind of shake you if you were asking him a question, he would try to get into a personal argument with you or just deny or lie about what you were asking about. And so I don't know if I would compare the two. I do think she should talk to the press. I think anyone who wants to have access to the nuclear codes should be willing to sit down and take questions. And we want to have her on the show.
I'd love to too, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
We'll see who gets her first.
Well, I think she'll do you before she does me, but oh, stop. You started it.
I paid her actually
But
before I came in.
CNN, I wouldn't doubt it. You probably did pay him before they came in. Kidding, of course. A lovely moment with Kaitlin Collins and Bill Maher. Look at them there. Both just so true to the journalistic code. Just so true to truth and bringing the truth to people. Look at them both there. Oh, of course. Anyway, what is worse? I think Bill is right. I think, and of course, Kaitlin Collins would be the person to make me feel like Bill Maher is right. Only that meeting of the minds could have me on Bill Maher's side. But I think Bill is 100% right. She is saying, I don't need you. She's saying, I already have the media, MSNBC, the left-wing media. I have them wrapped around my finger. You will not say anything negative about me. Those are your marching orders. You are going to follow those marching orders. There's nothing you can do about that. So she doesn't need them, in a sense. But here's the thing, when it comes to the press. Now, I wouldn't say the mainstream media upholds this properly, but the press is supposed to be a reflection of the people. It's supposed to be asking the questions that the people need answers to. Now, does MSNBC, ABC, CNN, do they actually do that? No. I've talked about it many times on this channel. They mold people's reality. That's what they try to do. They try to mold our reality. They don't actually reflect us. But, in a way, when Donald Trump decides to sit in front of the Black Journalists Association, or goes to the bodega, or goes to all these places, he goes to the Chick-fil-A, whatever, what have you, he actually has to answer questions. And it's just more respectable. Even if it is a journalist that loves him, that talks to him and asks him a question, it's still more respectable. It's showing I'm here, whatever you have to ask, whether you love me or you hate me, let's go, let's hear it. I'm sure he would like to be in more rooms where people love them, but he steps into situations where he knows that they don't like him. When he holds that press conference and he has groceries around him and he's trying to make the case of, look at how much inflation has gone up. He has people, when he goes to meet with the police department of Michigan, who have been heavy supporters of Donald Trump since his first administration, there's still journalists there who do not like him, that are going to ask him tough questions, and he's there to answer him. He doesn't run off. Nothing. He holds his ground and he talks with them for a long time. I wouldn't say hours, but long enough. He gives them a thorough chance to ask their questions. Kamala Harris has not done that, not even once. And I do think it's more insulting. I really do. But I mean, think about this. Her whole campaign has been rather insulting. If you're an American voter, if you are an American citizen, her whole thing has been absolutely insulting. She gathered no votes. She skipped the primary process where the people get to look and say, I'm a Democrat. I want my choice of the Democrat nominee that's going to go up against Trump. I want my choice. I pick this person. She said, I don't care about all that. And she went, the New York Times actually talked about this. They talked about it like it was some great thing. They're like, Kamala Harris made 100 phone calls and didn't go to sleep until well past midnight in order to get the nomination. And it's like, what the hell are you talking about? She made 100 phone calls. To who? Was she just calling regular people? No. She was calling the Obamas. She was calling Chuck Schumer, Pelosi, the Bidens, all of their constituents. She's calling congressmen and senators. She's making deep state people we don't even know about. She's calling all those people to get the nomination. And people, the American people are supposed to be proud of that. Democrats are supposed to be proud of that. They're supposed to be excited by that. That's alarming. Could you imagine if Trump was just like, I made 100 phone calls and now I'm the nominee? Everybody would be like, what the? Every single person who called him a dictator would be like, confirmed dictator. He's making calls in dark rooms to get the nomination. He's not even letting the people vote. That's exactly what she did. So her whole campaign so far has just been insulting. But I'm not done here yet. She actually did take a question from somebody, and this is the reason why. You could already see the fear in her face. This is the exact reason why she does not get in front of the media. She has one person ask her one question, and that's supposed to dispel everything about her hiding from the media. Look at the fear in her eyes. Also, watch this side of the screen when Tim Walz and her husband appear on the screen. Look at how nervous they are. This is why she hides from the media.
You unveiled some economic policies last week.
Yeah.
Can you explain how you're going to pay for those? And can you give us a sense of what other policies you want to unveil going forward?
Sure. Well, I mean, you just look at it in terms of what we are talking about, for example, around children and the child tax credit and extending the EITC. It's at $6,000 for the first year of a child's life. The return on that investment in terms of what that will do and what it will pay for will be tremendous. We've seen it when we did it the first year of our administration. We reduced child poverty by over 50%. So that's a lot of the work. And then what we're doing in terms of the tax credits, we know that there's a great return on that investment. And when we increase home ownership in America, what that means in terms of increasing the tax base, not to mention property tax base, what that does to fund schools, again, return on investment. I think it's a mistake for any person who talks about public policy to not critically evaluate how you measure the return on investment. When you are strengthening neighborhoods, strengthening communities, and in particular the economy of those communities, and investing in a broad-based economy, everybody benefits, and it pays for itself.
Some economic policies last week.
Yeah.
Look at the fear. The fear. She's like, oh gosh, I actually have to answer a question. Look at Tim. Tim's like, oh good Lord, what's going to happen here? Oh, I hope this doesn't take away the joy. She's 100% nervous as she's getting this question. And they're all nervous for her as they're hearing the question. Let me tell you something. If my wife my wife's a great speaker. If she had to answer a question, I would not look like this. I would be happy. I'd be like, this would be my face. Oh, someone's asking my wife a question. She's going to kill it. She's going to answer it because she's a normal thinking person. She can just say things that make sense. But when you know you have a wife, when you know you have a running mate that cannot make sense and goes into these word salad rants all the time, you get nervous when she's in front of camera because you know just one slip up can make it so she is no longer respected by anybody. That's what happened. Well, I shouldn't say that's what happened with Biden, but I don't know. Some people needed to see him in a debate to understand that his mind wasn't working properly. The rest of us knew from just seeing him. But this is very interesting. This is exactly why she's been hiding from the media. This is exactly why. Even what she was just talking about, she was talking about return on investment. And she's like, oh, you can't quantify, the return on investment because, there's going to be a return. What is the return on investment? What are you talking about? What do you mean? What is the return on investment? And she's saying you can't actually calculate it. How would you calculate it then? How do you calculate it? Because yes, me and other journalists, we can't do that. But you're the one suggesting this. So how are you going to qualify? How are you going to calculate that return on investment? What's going to happen there? She just keeps going into these weird rants, and that's what happens when she's caught off guard, which is why she wants a debate, same style that Trump and Biden had a debate on. She wants that exact same style. And who knows what's going to happen? She's rehearsing quite a bit right now. Hopefully she can handle it, but just what is worse? Someone that avoids the media or someone that embraces the media and is very abrasive while they do it? I think the person who's abrasive while they do it, because at least you know where that person stands. And at least that person's proving themselves to be able to speak, to be able to think, to be able to debate, to go back and forth. Because when someone's able to do that, you at least understand that they have some conviction in their ideas. And you get to actually hear their real ideas. We haven't heard that from Kamala Harris. And the only thing that we have heard since she's been nominated is that she wants to do something that happens in all failed socialist communist states, which is price controls. But that's for a whole other episode. I'm going to be doing that, talking about price controls. It's absolutely ridiculous. Venezuela, inflation went up to 800%. Are you ready for 800%? You know what that means? You leave. You leave. That's what it means. When a country hits that, you have to go. If you can. Oh my gosh. Anyways, guys, plane tickets become $6 million. It's just, and the money's worth nothing. It's crazy. It's crazy what happens. Oh my gosh. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments what you think is worse. Someone who avoids or someone who's abrasive with the media. Anyways, like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. Other than that, I'm out.